I guess that's because he's part of the Labour Party and part of the ruling class, and we saw it after the riots last summer. Different groups of people being treated differently. That is not who at 2 o'clock in the morning doesn't just strike someone in the street, but hits him 5 times on the ground. And what happens today at appeal? We're told the prison sentence is to be suspended.
Areas across Britain are experiencing crime rates 25% higher than the national average, yet police resources are increasingly directed toward monitoring social media rather than protecting communities. This statistical reality forms the backdrop of Farage's criticism of Mike Amesbury's release.
About what we say on social media.
Goes for Pete.
More concerned than maybe the Labour MP for Runcorn.
While the average Briton gets poorer and less safe, Farage highlights how political connections appear to influence justice outcomes. The numbers don't lie. Both economic indicators and crime statistics reveal a widening gap between the political class and ordinary citizens that's becoming impossible to ignore. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. When it comes to justice in Britain, we're witnessing something truly disturbing. The case of former Labour MP Mike Amesbury has exposed a stark reality that many have suspected for years. There appears to be one system of justice for the political class.
The ability of many families to live reasonable lives. We are in societal decline. Crime completely out of control. Here in Hull, has never been in graver problems internally. We are getting poorer. The average Brit is getting poorer. The cost of living is destroying. Crime 25% higher than the national average. People scared to go out after dark. The police force, who seem to be more concerned.
And quite another for ordinary citizens. Let's be clear about what actually happened. This wasn't some minor scuffle or momentary lapse in judgment. Amesbury viciously attacked a man, delivering 5 consecutive blows, while his victim lay defenseless on the ground. And when did this assault occur? At 2 a.m., hardly the time for a reasoned political disagreement. The brutality of the attack should have resulted in serious consequences, as it would for any normal citizen. But that's not what happened, is it? Instead, Amesbury managed to successfully appeal his sentence, effectively walking away without serving any prison time whatsoever. This outcome has understandably triggered widespread public outrage, and Nigel Farage has been quick to highlight this glaring injustice. What's particularly troubling is the stark contrast between how Amesbury's case was handled compared to similar cases involving ordinary Britons. While many citizens convicted of comparable assaults serve their full sentences with little hope of successful appeal, Amesbury somehow managed to secure his freedom through legal maneuvering. Farage pointed this out directly, emphasizing that regular citizens rarely enjoy the same opportunities for appeal that seem readily available to those with political connections. The timeline of events surrounding Amesbury's appeal raises serious questions. Legal experts have noted that the speed with which his appeal was processed was remarkably swift compared to the typically lengthy waiting periods experienced by non-politicians. This expedited treatment suggests a system that prioritizes those with influence, creating a troubling precedent about who truly matters in the eyes of British justice. Farage didn't mince words when addressing the situation. I guess that's because he's part of the Labour Party and part of the ruling class, he stated, cutting through the diplomatic niceties to get to the heart of the matter. This wasn't just another political jab. Farage was pointing to a systematic problem that transcends party politics. The evidence increasingly suggests he may be right. The uncomfortable truth is that this preferential treatment isn't limited to Amesbury or even to members of the Labour Party. Statistical evidence reveals a disturbing pattern. Individuals with political connections experience significantly higher rates of appeal success compared to ordinary citizens facing similar charges. This disparity cannot be dismissed as coincidence or explained away by differences in individual cases. Looking back over the past decade, we can identify a clear pattern of judicial leniency towards political figures across party lines. Whether Conservative, Labour, or Liberal Democrat, those with political influence appear to navigate the justice system with remarkable ease compared to the average Briton. This trend has contributed to a growing public perception that Britain now operates a two-tier justice system. One set of rules for the powerful and another for everyone else. Amesbury's case isn't an isolated incident. It's a symptom of a much larger problem. When politicians can commit serious assaults and face minimal consequences, it undermines the very foundation of equal justice that our democracy is supposed to stand upon. It sends a dangerous message that power and connections matter more than the rule of law. What Farage has exposed through his criticism of the Amesbury case is the systematic bias that permeates Britain's justice system. This isn't about left versus right politics, it's about a fundamental principle that justice should be blind to wealth, status, and political affiliation. The evidence suggests that in today's Britain, justice isn't just peeking through the blindfold, it's removed it entirely when dealing with the politically connected. The political earthquake continues to rumble through Britain, with Reform UK now reaching an unprecedented 25% in YouGov polling, surpassing both Labour and the Conservatives. This remarkable surge isn't merely about party politics. It reflects a deeper public recognition of the systemic inequalities Farage has been highlighting. The case of Mike Amesbury serves as just one visible symptom of a justice system increasingly viewed with suspicion by ordinary Britons. What makes Farage's message so powerful is how it bridges the gap between abstract concepts of justice and the lived reality of citizens. While political elites navigate the system with apparent ease, the average person faces a harsher economic climate and growing concerns about personal safety, all while witnessing preferential treatment for those with connections. Public trust in institutions continues to erode, raising a fundamental question that transcends politics. Can British democracy maintain legitimacy when justice appears to bend based on one's proximity to power?